morning, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I have Valentino here that is joining us in our video. He'll be in and out, as I always say. He might stay for the full video, he might not. So I'm leaving it up to him. Now, before we begin, make sure that you guys subscribe to my channel in order to get these weekly series videos. I am starting my podcast soon. I've just been really delayed with things. Everything happens at the right timing, of course, so hang in there. I do have a group on Facebook, Soul Work with Jenny G. Join me there as I add in a lot of different content into that as well. And I'm all over social media, Instagram, Jenny G Cousins. Just Google my name. You will find out everything you need to know. So let's start off with talking about between May 23rd and the 29th. What's happening this week? What's coming in? What can we expect with these different energies? We are in Gemini season. So this is a really big time. May, as I mentioned before, if you watch my previous videos, May is a very powerful month. So that is going to continue into June, especially towards the end of June, because what you're going to be doing is to continue to clear karmic situations, no matter what it is, if it's karmic relationships, karmic situations altogether, that's going to continue. And don't ignore that. You're going to find that, especially during this week, old memories of your childhood are coming in. You could have already felt that just before this time. So when this happens, what's happening is your soul is purposely bringing memories up to the surface for you to heal and work through this right now. So don't run from it. So if you ever notice that all of a sudden, wow, I watched a fashion show, let's say, like as an example, and I used to have a friend of mine that was into fashion, and that really triggered me and brought back a memory. So it can be something as simple as that. Like it could literally can be anything. So you are also going to feel the energy of this full moon in Sagittarius that's coming in on the 31st of May. It's going to be a blue moon. So I'm going to see if I can catch a picture of the blue moon. It depends on if there's clouds and so on and so on. So it could have kind of like a bluish tone to it. So we'll see what happens with that. Now, more of your destiny is going to continue to be shown to you. I talked about that before in last video, but it's going to become stronger and stronger and stronger as well. Whatever you're moving forward towards, you know what direction that you want to head into. So you're seeing more of these signs, and you will continue to do so. All of a sudden you could have been very spontaneous and, oh my gosh, I want to do this, or wow, I want to change that. Your creativity right now is going to be stronger. So if there's certain things you want to do or change, or work on, do it. So, we are moving into also true love, even more so again. You're going to be seeing that more and more and more. And just keep in mind, for those of you who are single and very sensitive and empathic, higher consciousness empaths, a lot of them can be single because they won't settle with just anybody, and they want to find somebody on their right vibrational frequency. So, your journey is your own, of course. You know what I mean? Don't ever judge anybody, whatever they're doing. But there are people that are like, why are you still single? I mean, I'm still single myself because I won't settle, and I do have to find somebody more at my level in order for something to work. That's why I have a puppy. But you know what I'm saying? You got to go on your own flow. So this Gemini season, your creativity, you're going to want to be more social. You're going to be more drawn to studying something new, learning about something, travel. Maybe some of you guys are setting new travel plans and booking those flights. And you're also going to see certain situations that have been delayed and the reason why it was delayed. You know, as I always say, when things are delayed, that's God's way of protecting you. So never force or push situations to happen. You might not understand it as you go through it. Like I was supposed to get a delivery the other day, you know, and then I'm like, what? You know, it's like, that's not coming now until next week. And I'm like, what? You know, but it's like, okay, it's going to come on the perfect day. You know, you got to let that go. You have to surrender it because it will come at the right timing. Now, listen up. This is a very lucky season from May 20th to the 20th of June for Virgo, Sagittarius, Gemini, and Virgo, Sagittarius, Gemini, and Pisces. So those signs will be more favored, you know. So it's a lucky time, like a lucky season. So, you know, whatever it is you want to do and work on, you very well could be seeing those results even more now. So, you know, it all comes down to what you do on a day-to-day basis will determine your future. So as we start off on the 23rd and 24th, you are going to be healing old wounds. We still have that Chiron energy. So past childhood wounds, memories are coming to the surface. Don't run from it. Things are clearing, you know, like this is a very, you know, important time when we're healing and still continuing to letting go. So you're going to find that you're going to have more courage to make these changes. And it could be around maybe family ties, let's say. It doesn't have to be. But you're going to feel more empowered. You're going to be like, I've had enough. I'm standing in my power now. And you're going to just see how much even more so you have changed. Like you've noticed that for a while as it is, the changes that you've been through, you know, and this is why I have the background of Ganesh, because Ganesh is a remover of obstacles to help you move through obstacles. I mean, I have a literally huge Ganesh statue in my place. It's so heavy. Like I bought it many, many, many years ago. And oh my God, like like I had to have the movers when I moved in here. They moved in the box and I'm like, I can't lift that. So, you know, go on your own flow. I'm just saying. But you're gonna just see just how much you have transformed right now. You know, you're not the same. You're really not. You know, how many of you have let go of certain things that you're like, wow, I never thought I'd let go of that person or that job, or maybe you're decluttering, you're going to be continually doing that more. You know, I'm very spontaneous. At the last minute, I might be like, you know what, I want that gone. I'm just going to donate it. Actually, there's something that I'm going to donate, you know, that's worth quite a bit of money actually. And I'm going to donate it to a hospice. It's I can really feel the energy, and after within the next couple of weeks, or sooner possibly. I'm just waiting for something to happen first before I donate that. So it'll be a release. So pay attention to that. Certain things that you're letting go, you know, and just cherish certain memories of whatever it was, you know, the good and the bad. And when you're ready to let go, let go. And that's with any situation. So you're really going to see what resonates with you more, and you're going to see what doesn't. You know, like even last night, I was sitting back and I'm like, oh, that's a great idea, Jenny. You should do that. And I'm like, okay. So I wrote it down. I wrote it down and I'm like, yeah, because when you do that, then you can do this and this and that. Yes, pay attention to those ideas. Your soul is bringing up that creative side, as I mentioned. So even that creative side in you can change your destiny, can really bring you towards your destiny even better. As long as you've been paying attention to red flags, working with it, releasing it, and ending it, and so on. You know, otherwise you can get stuck. And, you know, sometimes we have to stay in a certain situation longer in order to be like, that's it, I'm finally done. So don't ever judge anybody. Okay, don't ever do that. So 25th and 26th of May is supposed to be my delivery date, 25th to 27th now, actually. The 25th and 26th. Now it's May 25th to 27th. And I'm like, but anyways, surrender, surrender. So you could find that on these 2 days, there's some incoming surprises for you in a really good way. You're going to see more clarity. However, you're going to set a lot more boundaries. You're going to be like, no, I'm not dealing with this. Sorry, I don't have time. Yeah, no, I only have 5 minutes. No, all of that. But you're going to be facing your fears even more, liberating yourself. You're going to be standing more in your power. I've had enough. This doesn't resonate with me. You're not going to be putting up with nonsense anymore, so to speak. So it's a very big time where you will see just how much you have transformed, as I mentioned. Your soul is opening up and cracking the old and embracing the new. So this is why all of these changes have been shown to you at these last minutes. Release this, let it go, let it go. I mean, I even cleaned out my you know, one of my other boxes the other day that was packed. And it had old files in it for many years ago. And I'm like, I don't need this. And as I was going through it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, memories, triggers, and certain, but I'm like, you don't need that because you're not carrying that into your new life. You're not carrying that into the direction that you're going anymore. So you're going to see that you could be doing that anymore. You're not going to handle your past anymore with certain situations. And you know yourself what situation that is, no matter what it is, but don't rush anything. Just kind of go on that own flow with you, but you will be a lot more spontaneous. I'm a very spontaneous person myself, but you could find that especially more so during the Gemini season. So just release these wounds, face it, don't run from it. For as I was healing through certain things for many years, I would always have sunglasses on. Right. I tell people this because it's like you could be in the middle of a grocery store buying milk or something, and all of a sudden a memory or you get triggered and tears come. All right, I got my sunglasses. That's fine. Nobody will see that. How you doing, Jenny? I'm good. You know, so you might want to keep those sunglasses on or some Kleenex or tissues. Just it's perfectly fine. Healing is a process that can take a very, very long time. It's like a death. You could be mourning over people that have passed on. Like even on my window, like, we get signs and and on my kitchen window, I'm not going to go into details, but it says LV, and I thought, does that tell me to leave? But then I'm like, no, it says love you, and I know who that was from. So anyways, and then it faded after about 2 weeks and it was gone. And this morning, as I'm opening up my blinds, turning my coffee on, it was there again. So I know the message and the reason and who and all of that. I understand it. So there are signs everywhere. That's why it's like if you have, need clarity, you can always book a reading with me. Make sure you go to my new website, by the way, soulworkwithjennyg.com. My old website is gone. So if you go looking for it, it's not there. So, and then I can give you the clarity and insights, of course, with what's coming up in meetings and so on. There's been a lot of messages and dreams. So when you wake up, write it down, especially if it's like, wow, like, what did that mean? Like, I don't just write it down in the meantime. And you can ask me, book a reading with me. You can ask me all these questions. So the 27th and the 28th, as we're getting towards, you very well could be having more of a heart-to-heart conversation with someone. It can be in like a really good way or not. However, if you're really upset with somebody, make sure you're calm first and then talk with them. It's so easy to say things we regret whenever we're angry. Of course, I was yelling at the leaf blower the other day. Shut up. Like, you're at that same spot for an hour. Like, what the hell? I know. I'm like, Jenny, calm down. But I'm like, seriously, he's at the same spot for an hour. Like, what the hell? But anyways, you know, I'm just saying, we all get tested, right? So this is the time to be gentle with yourself. You're going to be more sensitive. We all have our own journey to go through in life, of course. Nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes. We all have our own lessons to go through. A lot of truth will be shown during these 2 days. Pay attention. Don't ignore it and just push it under the rug. Be really honest with yourself. Whenever we hear messages from someone and we're like, oh, I don't want to hear that, we can easily brush it under the rug, especially let's say if it's a person, let's say we're interested in, or your person, and they're telling you, I don't know if this is working. Some people can easily brush it under the rug. I'm just going to ignore that. I don't want to deal with that. I'm scared. You can't do that because it's only going to get worse. Have your honest, heart to heart, open conversation with your person and resolve things. You're going to see your worth more. Do I deserve that treatment from them? No matter who it is. It could be a friend, it could be family, it could be your person, business. It literally can be anybody. Always be honest. So you might find your ears could be ringing a little bit during this time. You could be like, oh, tinnitus. I mean, I have tinnitus myself in my left ear. That was caused by working like 16 hours every day with no days off for a very long time. No sleep. That's long story. So our body does get affected, but when you hear ears ringing on the 27th and 28th, it does not represent that. It's just the old is clearing out and the new is coming in. And the universe is wanting you to pay attention to what you hear more. It's like downloads, frequencies from the universe of what's coming in. So the 29th of May, and I just actually automatically thought of McTavish, my wolfhound. As I was going through my filing cabinet, I was finding his certificates, from the breeder and brought me back to that day and my journey in Ireland to pick him up and the whole entire situation. So it did trigger me and stuff. And, I have a Cloucho by my friend Fran in Scotland, that she sent me from Wolfhounds. She's a Wolfhound breeder and helped me through the loss of McTavish and the Outlander cast and crew and just other people and such. It really took me back to that time, so that's the day he passed, of course, May 29th. I think I said his birthday, but no, it was the day he passed. So, we get triggered by things, but it's a way also for us to heal. So that's the 29th also is about true love, soulmates. You could be forming a stronger bond with your person. You could be making future goals together, future plans together with your person. With whatever it is, it's going to be more real. You're really going to see even more who your person is again. I know that recently just happened if you watched my last video, but it's coming back on the 29th. So you could be creating stronger bonds with your person and letting go of illusions and fantasies of, let's say, of somebody who you thought you had wanted. Maybe you heard more information on them where you're like, oh my God, I don't want that person for whatever reason. And this is the time when you have to balance giving and receiving with your partner. It has to be equal. If you're the one that's constantly giving, it's going to throw everything off of alignment because your partner will just automatically have expectations from you that you're just going to do it. It has to be equal or else things get out of alignment really quick, really fast. So the reason why this is happening is because we have Venus energy back in. So your heart is going to be more open. Maybe it's like, wow, I really want to tell my partner more how I feel. Be patient with your partner, be patient with yourself. Maybe that's the day you really share from your heart how you feel of, wow, I love you. Maybe that's the day where somebody's like, oh my gosh, my My person just said they love you, or maybe it was you that said that. So it can be a very sacred day for you. And that's why it's like for other people who are single, hang in there. You know, things happen at the right timing. It really does. And it's so important to write down what qualities you're really, really looking in a partner. It's so important. We can attract all kinds of people to us and then regret it. Like, oh my God, it takes time getting to know someone and building a foundation with that person. And that's why it's like higher energy, people in that they just don't settle. It's like, I can't just settle with this person or that person. They have to be on the right vibrational frequency at my level or higher in order for things to work and us to truly connect in a deeper level. That's where I've always been at and been at. There's opportunities and stuff like that. And then when it's like, wow, there's red flags, no, sorry, it's not going to work. Of course, I don't settle. I don't. Nobody's perfect. Get that out of your mind. There's no such thing as a perfect relationship. It takes two people to make it work, not just one. So I also do relationship coaching. You can check it out on my website. So there's a lot involved with that. You know what I mean? And some people will meet somebody, oh my God, I just met this person and the chemistry is so raw, so off the charts. The bond, I just feel that connection. That could be a karmic relationship for you in a not so good way from another lifetime. So that's why it's really important to not rush, truly get to know your person, because it can be very painful or it can be beautiful. Oh, so let's pull a couple of cards. I don't use cards when I'm with someone. I'm a psychic clairvoyant medium who pass life Akashic records. I'm an animal communicator, relationship coach, and so on and so on. It's all on my website. You'll see all of that. So I just do this for YouTube as well, just to see what's the collective message. So let's ask the cards, the universe, what is the message collectively from the 23rd to the 29th of May? Like, oh my God, we're moving into June. Like, oh my God. Look back to the 1st of January and see where you're at now. What's happened? What's changed? What have you resolved? What's happened? Because you are going to continually clear karmic situations until the end of June. That's going to continue on, by the way. So now the card that came down is forgiving and learning. As you release and heal the past. Oh my God, there's no such thing as coincidence. Wow. I was just talking about as you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present future. In order to move into a new relationship, you have to heal from your previous relationship. Because if you don't, the new relationship is not going to work because you're bringing in all of that unhealed emotions into a new relationship, which the new relationship will be like, this is no, he is attacking me on this, automatically this and this and that, because you haven't healed fully. So reflect back over your past relationship. What lessons did you learn? Make sure you're healed from it and truly ready to open your heart to be in a new one. Forgive someone. You don't have to like hang out and get back with someone or hang out with a friendship, but you want to be able to forgive that person within just so you can move on. If you hold, resent and anger in your body from a situation or person, it's going to affect your body. It can go right through your bones, create arthritis, and all kinds of things can happen from anger, like, urinary infections. Like, just, I could go on and on and on. It creates havoc in your body and issues. So, wow, what a card. That's pretty cool. So I pulled my crystal deck as well. I haven't used my crystal deck in a while. I go by what I'm feeling pulled towards whenever I pull my cards. So what is the message? I love my crystals for you guys that know me. 23rd to the 24th, 29th. What is the message? 23rd from the 29th from the crystal world. Oh, here we go. Ooh, turquoise. I am wearing turquoise myself. Here's one of my turquoise. I get pulled towards what I'm feeling strongly I should wear. So turquoise, prioritize your health. Exactly. Prioritize your health. Certain crystals will help us through things. Will help us realign our body, mind, and spirit in many different ways. So that's why whenever you get pulled to certain crystals, pay attention to it. You might not understand. You can always Google it to see what the definition is, but prioritize your health. We can have billions of dollars, let's say, but if you don't have your health, what's it going to do? Right? So one last card I'm hearing. Wow, these cards are, I love the spirit world when it talks. When the spirit world has a message, it's going to come through. It's like a reading. Jenny, what do I get in a reading? I don't know what message are going to come through at any certain time. I don't know. It just happens as I'm channeling and communicating with you. So the 23rd to the 29th, that's the message from the spirit world. 23rd to the 29th. Connect with water. Now, water represents emotions. So water is very healing, and it will also tell you where your emotions are at. So a lot of empaths and sensitive people will go towards water. I mean, I love water myself. Ocean, water, spirits, hydrate. Maybe you should be drinking a lot more water. Water helps you stay grounded. It helps flush out toxins, keeps you hydrated, especially whenever there's solar flares, solar storms, and all kinds of stuff going on. How many of you have sat by water or been around water and starting to feel better, like just healing and letting go? Let the tears come. It's very, very healing. How many of you guys connect with water? So for those of you, make sure you like my channel, like the video, make some comments, let me know what's going on. Subscribe, for goodness sakes. Follow me on Instagram, Jenny G Cousins. I'm all out there. And I will catch you all later on the next video. Namaste.